Well, hello. This is Al, and you're listening to the Yell Club podcast. Guess what, motherfuckers? This is episode number 1. How cool is this? I don't know if I'm supposed to be making some sort of, wow, a core memory type of thing, but I am. Right now, I am in the moment. I am just not thinking about anything else. Well, I am thinking about a bunch of shit, but I'm also trying very, very hard to be in the moment, in the zone, in tune with myself, and recognize and be grateful that I can do this shit and that you can hear me. When I say that, I'm like, hear me? Like, who the fuck wants to hear me? And it makes me think about how much or how critical I am of myself. You'll get to hear me say that a lot, perhaps, or you'll just get to call me out as it happens. I hear it at work a lot. This isn't about me now, but other people that also suffer from the same highly critical of yourself-itis. People just have such low self-esteem, and a lot of them work in healthcare. It's like so easy to call yourself a fucking idiot, or like, I'm talking too much, or don't listen to me, I'm just stupid, I'm so dumb. So many things that we just kind of like microaggressions to ourselves. And I do that a lot. I'll keep doing that on this podcast because I can't fucking help myself. It is who I am, at least right now. But it is cool that at least I'm aware of it. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, and we are going to dive right in. We're just going to go straight into this shit. I set up a voicemail account, and people have been leaving me voicemails, sharing their experiences, sharing whatever, ask me anything, tell me anything type of thing. But anyway, we have a voicemail. It kind of makes me think of Blue's Clues when, what's his name? Jim Bob? I forgot his name. Jim, John, Johnny, Steve. Anyway, Steve is like, we just got a letter. And then he just like brings his shirt up and then rubs his nipples like real hard. And then he goes, I wonder who it's from. On this episode, we will talk about dealing with family members that are anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, COVID deniers, and all the other people that say COVID was a big hoax. But I first want you to hear this message. It is a little bit on the fucking brutal side. Here we go.
Al, the amount of anxiety it gives to call a phone number anymore, not knowing what's going to happen. Good Lord.
Good Lord.
I am a follower from late Instagram, also fellow burnt out former COVID ICU nurse.
What?
Yes, I just want to say I appreciate your vulnerability with what you have shared via social media.
Thank
and
you.
I know what's to come.
You know what's to come?
Well, I don't know what's to come.
You don't know what's to come.
I don't know if you know what's to come.
What's to come?
With this podcast.
Oh, with the podcast.
I already appreciate it and what you're doing.
Thank you.
But former ICU nurse, worked through COVID, left ICU April of 2021, was raised conservative Christian, was homeschooled actually.
Homeschooled.
Got married in college.
Hey.
And now divorced.
Whoa, welcome to the club. Welcome.
My father was
Lionel Richie.
A vaccine denier.
So not Lionel Richie. Got it.
And died of COVID.
Oh, fuck.
Last fall.
Oh.
And then I had relationship trauma as well.
Same.
And I love mental health and therapy, and it's all good.
It's not all good.
Plenty of trauma, plenty of growth.
Yep.
All the things. But thanks again. Appreciate what you do.
Fuck, dude. I'm sorry about your dad. I'm sorry that I called him Lionel Richie and then he wasn't Lionel Richie. Instead, he was Lionel Dead. That's a bad joke. See, I can't make those jokes. But you know what? I'm not going to fucking edit it out because I want to own up to my stupid fucking brain. See, another fault right there where I just call myself stupid, minimize myself, etc. We all do it. We all fucking do it. Anyway, I'm not going to edit it out. And we are going to apologize. I'm sorry that you lost your dad to COVID. Fuck, I can't even imagine what that must be like. And to think that I've been in situations where I had patients in the ICU that were COVID deniers as well. They were literally telling the intensivist as they're about to be intubated, I think you want to intubate me because you just want to show that there is a pandemic happening. You just want the numbers to show that there's something happening out there, but I don't really need to be intubated. You're just trying to play your little little hoax of there is a pandemic. And then fast forward a couple of weeks, and this patient is now dying in the ICU while they were a COVID denier the whole time. And they're not my patient that night, but I was the closest one to the room when the patient started dying. So we start the whole process of calling a code. Another nurse starts CPR, and then I cycle in and I'm doing CPR now. And I'm looking at this person as they're lying there almost completely gone, dying from an illness that was otherwise preventable, but they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe that they could actually have done things to minimize their risk. So to think about this caller and now their dad is dead, how powerless can one feel? I cannot imagine what so many other people out there have had to go through. I got lucky with my family, and I say lucky, but it really isn't lucky. It's more like I was willfully unaware that my mom with all her sisters were gathering for Christmas, for example, December 2020. Things were grim. Shit was bad. In Arizona, our ICU was full. We had both ICUs that had nothing to do with COVID. One is the CV ICU and one was neuro. They were both full. Maybe an open bed, maybe 2 open beds, but they were very quickly getting filled with new patients that were completely fucking paralyzed and intubated and the whole shebang. And then I get a phone call from my mom, or we decide to FaceTime for, because it's Christmas night, Christmas Eve, or I don't fucking know, Christmas. It was Christmas. And I see my mom on FaceTime and she's, dressed very festive. And I'm like, okay, so you're wearing red and you have makeup on. Are you home alone? Obviously not. She was not. I mean, I wouldn't expect my mom to be totally home alone. And I get it. I get the necessity to be gathered with the people that you love, especially during the holidays, especially during a fucking pandemic. It's probably the only thing you want to do if that's where you find comfort and security. But it was so fucking irresponsible at the same time. So I think back to the person that called and how her dad is dead as a COVID denier, and how she also says,
and it's all good.
And I don't believe you. When you say it's all good, that sounds, well, you don't say it like Borat. It's all good. It's nice. I'm really bad at that voice. Yeah, you say that, but you don't really mean it, I think. Maybe you're just kind of wrapping it up and you have to say, it's all good. It's fine. How many times have we done that, right? How many times have you done? It's fine. It's all good. I'm good. Coasting. All is fine. All is well. You don't want to show emotionality because that is known to be a sign of weakness. So many people don't want to be emotional, don't want to be vulnerable. And I don't want to sit here and just be like, well, she's saying it's all fine, and I'm here pointing a finger at her and saying, no, you're not. And like, I don't want this person that submitted that, to listen to this week's episode, be like, Al's just being a fucking asshole. I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to express how this human experience that we all have is kind of universal. I think we all do that shit. Well, I think we all minimize our feelings. It's all fine. It's all good. Someone asked me today at work, how are you? Hey, Al, how's it going? I don't know. Something like that. So minimal, so in passing. So I don't actually give a fuck how you're doing, but I'm seeing you. I just made eye contact. I kind of know you. So I'm going to have to fucking say, how are you? And I tried really, really hard to find a word that was an emotion, that wasn't just, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. And we don't fucking do enough of that. I may be a people pleaser, and that's why I have to say something. I have to acknowledge someone, and I have to be light and carefree and kind of jokeful and playful, because that's my MO. That is how I operate in the world. That is how I learned to survive. oh, if everyone's having a good time, therefore they can't hurt me. Therefore they can't say shit that is painful. Look at it from the other angle. Instead of being a people pleaser, you are actually the person that will just look at someone and maybe blink a couple times and know that they're looking at you too, but you keep on a straight face and then look away because you don't give a shit. And that I may think is admirable because I can't do it. However, I also think that that probably is some sort of trauma response. I don't know if trauma response is the right word. I want to be careful with not overly or overusing terms that are kind of buzzwords, right? However, if you learn to operate in the world where you have to show no emotionality, because if you do, if you open up to other people, then they'll hurt you. So you could do what I do, be the clown, or you could do what you do and not talk to anyone. And both of those are protective, right? Both of those will serve a very similar purpose, which is I need to survive. I need to know that I'm going to be safe. You see how I go into a tangent? And I hope you're going to get used to this shit. This is how I am. This is my brain. This is my podcast. And if you don't like it, well, fuck off. No, I'm kidding. No, don't fuck off. I love you. And to the person that sent that message, I'm really sorry about your dad. And I'm really sorry that we can't do a lot with the tragedy of what COVID has been like. There's a song that I like from this metal band. I don't even know what the lyrics say because it's all, screaming. And I listen mostly for the music. But anyway, the song is called Meaning in Tragedy. And that's what I'm thinking. What is the meaning in this tragedy? What is the meaning of this pandemic? What is the meaning of so many lives being lost? It reminds me of when I used to work at the VA and I had a patient who was a Vietnam War veteran, and he had an experience somewhere in the street. I think a tire popped, something triggered him, and it activated all these parts of his brain that are connected to the trauma that he lived while he was in Vietnam. And all he could say after this tire popping was, what a waste. What a fucking waste. What a waste. And his wife, who was there at the appointment, they were both sharing the story with me. I don't know why they were sharing it with me, but they did. And they were saying how those are the words that he used to say when he would talk about this instance in the war where one of his people in his, platoon or whatever the fucking terms are for combat shit, one of his other soldiers with him stepped on a landmine and died, right? And all he could think about at that time was, what a waste. What a fucking waste. Like, this dude was just walking, trying to do his fucking job, whatever he's doing in Vietnam, and now he's blown up to pieces, and that's it. What a waste. And I related back to the pandemic, and it makes me think again, what a waste of memories. What a waste of life. What a waste of people that had ideas, that had things to look forward to, that had a personality, that had family, that had things that they enjoyed doing, things that they were looking forward to seeing next week, perhaps. People that were about to celebrate, I don't know, fucking their 70th birthday, and they were planning to go do some fucking cool shit for it, and being like, I've never been to Greenland. I don't know. I've never been to Greenland. I'm going to go to Greenland for my 70th birthday. But no, you're now 68 and your birthday is coming up, but holy fuck, it's April 2020. And guess what? You're now in the COVID ICU, intubated, and I'm your nurse. And then you're fucking dead. So what is the meaning in tragedy? I don't know. I don't know what the meaning of this person's dad dying is. You can choose to say it is God's will, it is in God's plan, God works in mysterious ways. There are so many ways to look at it and to hold on to a version of what you think, reality is like. You could say it was God, you could say it was just pure coincidence, you could say it was the devil, you could say it was sin, right? How many people have to go through hurtful, painful shit only to be explained that, well, you're going through that because of sin in the world and because Satan fucking rules the world. And in my mind, I'm like, well, that's fucking metal, number one. No, I'm sorry, it's not metal, it sucks. But Satan doesn't exist. So what am I trying to say? Okay, what I'm trying to say is tragedy will happen either way. I don't know. There's a song that I really enjoy, another song, not meaning in tragedy, but I think it's called Only Rain by Bad Religion. And they say, something about rain and how you could think it's rain coming because of God, because God is sending you the rain, or just wait around and rain's going to happen either way. It's only rain. It's not God telling you this is why shit happened. This is why it's raining on you. It's going to happen either way, whether you pray for it or not, right? Anyway, lots of questions on this one. I honestly don't fucking know what to tell this person about her dad. Here I am thinking, ooh, I'm going to be so wise. I'm going to just tell her the right fucking words. And maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't want to fucking work in COVID anymore. Because what do you say to people when their family are dying and you're a people pleaser? Holy fuck, that makes a lot of sense right now. How do you deal with being a people pleaser and not knowing what to tell the family member of someone that just died of COVID or is dying of COVID? And you just kind of stand there. And at one point, you fucking check out. And that's what I did because the situation was uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. You don't know what to tell them. Nothing's going to make it better. You did your best. You feel some sort of responsibility because the patient didn't make it, because you think for some reason, fuck, we could have done something differently. What if we had convinced, or what if this person could have shown up just a little earlier? I think about these things and it's like, I can't go back and analyze every fucking patient because I don't even fucking remember them. So all that to say, I don't know what the meaning in tragedy is. I don't know why this person's dad died of COVID. And it's really fucking sad that they had a whole narrative in their head and that they died on that hill. And because I'm not only a people pleaser, I'm also a fixer. I have some sort of fucking complex that I have to fix everybody's issues, even when they don't ask for it. I'm thinking now kind of like just brainstorming and all the wheels in my head and that meme with all the math equations popping up out of nowhere in the air and you're just looking around trying to find an answer. I'm doing that right now with this person's dad. I'm like, oh fuck, what could we have done differently to show that person that they're listening to misinformation? And I've gone over this fucking thing so many times when things were heavier last year. I wanted to find another way to let people know that this shit's serious. And I'm really thankful that my Instagram account blew up the way it did because of working in the ICU. And my hope in this, again, fixer mentality is that my message, whatever my experience has been, helped a person or two get vaccinated. A person or two fucking wear a mask. Or a person or two tell their family members that this virus is deadly. Like, hey mom, hey dad, there's this dude on Instagram, there's this dude on the fucking social media, and he says that shit's bad in the ICU, and he's telling us how it really is, and holy fuck, these people are really sick. And that's what I wanted. That's what I was trying to do, trying to fucking save the world, as if I fucking could. How exhausting. You want to know something that I haven't even fucking told you all on my social media? You know how I talk about therapy all the time? Oh, this actually kind of sounded like the beginning of a fucking ad. You know how I talk about therapy all the time? Well, and you know it's a fucking ad because the volume is different and it's kind of like that. You didn't really fucking work on your audio, you asshole. And now I know that it is an ad and I'm going to skip it even harder because you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, yeah, it totally sounded like the beginning of an ad. Like, I don't know, for BetterHelp. Everyone fucking talks shit about it, but maybe they're a good sponsor. Maybe they give you a lot of money. Will I suck their dick one day? I don't know. Does BetterHelp have a dick? Maybe it has a giant dick. BetterHelp has a giant penis. I wish I could name that the episode. I feel like I could. I don't know if it's going to get me fucking censored or some shit. I'm trying to be on good terms with Apple and with all the other podcasts and to appear in other podcasts and suck some more dick somewhere else so that I could be heard. What am I trying to say here? I don't even know anymore. I should go to bed. I work tomorrow. Anyway, yeah, BetterHelp. If you have a giant dick, I will maybe consider giving you a little kiss for money. Today's episode is brought to you by... Hold on. Yeah. Why do they fucking sound like, what's that dude? Like Count Dracula, but from Sesame Street? Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp's Giant Dick. No, it's not. It's not brought to you by BetterHelp. This is all me. I'm funding this whole thing. I'm not making a single dollar out of this podcast yet. Maybe one day I will suck BetterHelp's dick. Why do I keep saying that? Am I obsessed with dick? Am I gay? You are gay. Have you seen that video? That one dude in I think he's in Uganda. And he's talking to, oh my God, he's like a news anchor guy. And he's talking to some other person that I think is like in the LGBTQ community in that country. And then the dude's like, Mr. and then pauses it. And he's like, can I call you Mr.? Because he's like, I don't know, you're fucking gay. I don't know what to call you, right? In his, I don't know, one dimensional brain where like gay people are not even fucking real. He's probably like, can I call you Mr.? Are you something? Are you a person? Are you even in front of me? And then he proceeds to fucking ask, well, just straight up, why are you gay? Oh, dude. Anyway, great fucking video. I'll probably post it on my Instagram. You've probably already seen it. I've referenced it a lot, and it's been in existence forever. Anyway, I never told you what was going on with COVID and my therapy journey. So I'm in therapy in 2019. That is when I started therapy. Right before COVID, perhaps a few months before. Then my marriage is going to shit, and I'm talking about that mostly. I'm talking a little bit about work, a little bit about how it sucks to work in the CVICU as a new grad, the whole experience of being a new grad. I didn't know if my preceptors were cool with me. I thought I was totally inadequate, and I think that they probably thought the same. They were probably thinking this dude doesn't have the personality to fucking deal with what's going on here. And that may have just been tied to my whole, narrative in my head that I wasn't good enough for fucking anything. And why would I want to be in the ICU when I'm not good enough for this? And anyway, digressing. So I'm in therapy 2019. I'm in therapy early 2020. Not really talking about work. Now I'm talking about my marriage and how that's going to shit, right? COVID hits. We go on Zoom or whatever program we were using. We still talk about my marriage. We still talk about my divorce. We still talk about how that feels. And if you haven't noticed where this is going, this is where it fucking went. I literally never talked about working in the COVID ICU with my therapist in Tucson, and I have not started talking about it with my therapist here in Seattle. The reason that I found as to why that is because you can't dissect trauma as it's currently happening to you. It's like talking about a bomb that keeps on fucking going off and trying to debrief about it, trying to be better about it. But guess what? Next day, you're going to get hit by another bomb. And what are you going to do? Dissect that and talk about that shit? No, you're going to have to wait for all of that shit to go away and then talk about it. So at least that's what my therapist has told me. And that's what I'm respecting about the process. But also I've had so much other emotional growth and fucking self-esteem stuff and confidence and God, so much of my growth that has been kind of just like waiting to happen in my 30s that I haven't talked to any, I haven't been able to talk about the pandemic and the impact that it's had on me. Literally the only three times that I brought up working in the ICU and COVID and all of that shit, I started crying. I started crying immediately. I started crying in therapy. And I think we were either running out of time for the appointment, or my therapist just knew that opening that kind of worms at that time was probably a bad idea. So we never really did talk about COVID. All I know is that I quit knowing that I could listen to my own intuition and my need for safety and my need for feeling less like shit. And that's why I left the ICU. And I could pick up on my cues of like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Oh, I don't have to live this fucking trauma anymore. I can leave. And that in itself is admirable to be able to do that, because I can think about it. I can pick it up. I can take it apart and decide on how much is affecting me. And then maybe eventually I will talk to my therapist about COVID and how it was working in the ICU. But to be honest, whenever I think about it, there's a lot of spotty shit. There's a lot of areas where I can sit there for a long time and I can't fucking find the precise feeling or the precise instance or moment or situation or what the fuck was happening. And I get patients confused in my head. And I'm like, oh, was this patient that I'm thinking about brothers with the guy next door? Or am I thinking about the guy that was cousins with the other dude? And they were both dying at the same time. And one of them was on CRRT. And then their fucking cuff blew from their whatever. I just confuse all these fucking instances, all of these things that happen. And I now understand that to be some sort of dissociation. that I'm doing to survive, to keep going, right? So that's what I wanted to share. I have not, in summary, I have not talked about COVID in therapy. And as much as I talk about therapy on social media, I feel like at least this information is something that I should be sharing with you all. Not because I feel like I've been dishonest with you, but holy shit, I think it's pretty big that I keep telling everyone to go to therapy to deal with the shit that they deal with as healthcare workers. And here I am not fucking doing that work, and instead just catching up on my own emotionality and my own issues with like my own maturity and growth. Whew. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap this one up here. I think I just blew my own goddamn mind. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. This is episode 1. Thank you for that caller that left me the message about her dad and her experience. Thank you for your vulnerability. You are loved. I love you. And I wish I could hug you. And I wish I could just fucking hold you, because that's all I could offer. And I hope and I wish that could be enough. To everyone else, next week, another one of these fucking episodes. And I don't know, by then I'll actually be in grad school, which starts in 3 days from the day that I'm recording this episode. So I'll let you all know how that goes. Anyway, this has been episode 1 of the Yell Club. Much love and gratitude always for all of the support. I will talk to you all next week. Bye.